Welcome to my channel. My name is Dr. David Amakobe. I talk about the impact individuals, groups, structures, and processes have on behavior within organizations. Today we're going to talk about the family and how the individuals and groups and structures and processes in those families affect or impact behavior within them. A family is an organization like any other. It's the first relationship somebody has when they come to this world. They have a mother, they have a father, and they have relatives. And those individuals make a family. So, the impact these individuals and the groups that form within those families have on behavior in the family, it depends on the expectations each family member has of each other. And on the screen you can see a tweet by Omwamba of Kenya. He says that my uncle once told me to send my CV to his email. I forgot to send it. I met the man 2 weeks later, and he said he had forwarded it to big people. First of all, the change from uncle to man tells you something about how he's thinking about his uncle. So, first of all, we have to look at the expectations the person or member has of his uncle, that his uncle owes him something. He owes him introduction to big people. And he says that his uncle asked him to send a resume or CV, but he forgot and gives himself a pass for forgetting, but then blames his uncle for telling him that he forwarded the email to some people. There are two issues there. The author never lifted a finger to send his resume. And maybe the author is the only nephew of the guy, the man he calls. But if he is not the only one and is therefore not special, and the man receives a lot of requests for introductions, he may assume that, okay, I told you to send the resume, and if it's 2 weeks and you must have sent, I must have forwarded. In this case, the person who is requesting introduction does not seem to think they have any responsibility at all in this transaction. They expect that the person who is supposed to be helping them should seek them out to get the resume and make a note when the resume arrives so that it can be forwarded. And I know I answer this by a story that I tell every time. Me and my elder sister used to go to a school which was very close to my grandmother's house, my maternal grandmother. And in those days, my mom wouldn't afford lunch. So she would always make arrangements for my grandmother to make lunch for us. And I was younger, so our classes used to break earlier. and I would arrive at the house most of the time earlier. The lady obviously kept time. She knew and she had the school bell ring those days, and she would put 2 pots of water at the door. She didn't have piped water, so all the water had to be picked up, collected from a stream, a spring, about 3 minutes away. So as the school bell rang, this lady, my grandmother, would take 2 pots and put the door, waiting. As soon as I would hit the door, he'd say, "Hey, Dowdy," she used to call me Dowdy. "Dowdy, can you collect some water from the stream? Meanwhile, I make some lunch for you." And I would look at her and say, "What? Me? Go bring water? Mom told me I have to come and take lunch here. I was not told I had to bring water. So in that case, I'm going back home. I'm going home." So I would run about 5 miles to my mom's house. Okay? And my sister would come in drop in a little later. She's told to go and collect water, and she dutifully goes to collect the water. When she comes, my grandmother had already made lunch. She's laid it out. Obviously, she didn't make lunch in 3 minutes. She most of the time would have made the lunch, but she was just keeping it, making us go collect the water, and then we have to eat. But me, I would not do it. I would just say, "Mom told me to come and eat. If there's no food, I'm going home." But when I reached home, of course, I rediscovered that, of course, there was no food. So I would run the 5 miles back to school, go to class, hungry and angry. I always thought my grandmother was the worst grandmother on earth. How would she ask me to do something before I eat? I thought she owed me lunch. She was my mother's mother, for God's sake. And that is exactly what I read in this tweet. Omwamba does not want to lift any finger at all. This guy is his uncle. If he tells him to send an email and he finds that Omwamba hasn't sent, he should call him and ask him why he hasn't sent. And if God forbid, he forgets that how many of his nephews and nieces and brothers have asked for reference, and he thinks this one must be the other one, that's really bad, then there's no point of a connection. These people are no good. I think, like my grandmother would tell me when I go back in the evening, she would say, "Me and your mother and your dad and your relatives owe you nothing. We only owe you the truth. And only those people who can be sent, like in Lue they will say, Omwano Mrumwa, can be able to get anything or eat something that's hidden." So this idea of entitlement, that a relative of yours, your mom, your dad, your mom's brother, or whatever, that they are set in life and they should take care of you, is it's a letdown, let me say this. Because nobody in life owes anybody anything other than the truth. And this is the wisdom of our fathers. So if you have an uncle, a brother, a sister who is supposed to give you a hand up, please don't pull them down. Put some effort in climbing up. And that is the talk on the impact of individuals, groups, and structures and processes have in organizations. And today we're talking about the family unit. The expectation of some people that if one person has, according to them, succeeded, he owes them, and they don't have to lift any finger at all. Otherwise, the idea of connections, confidence, and competence doesn't work, they have to do it on their own. No, connections is two-way. You have to do something. Like my grandmother would say, collect me some water. That is all you can do for now. Pick some water from the stream. I have prepared lunch for you. You eat, and that transaction will be there. It was a good lesson for me in life, that at whatever level you are in life, there is some value you can bring to the table. Don't just sit there and think that people are going to do stuff for you just because they are who you are, or because they are related to you, or because you are related to them. And another point is that if you can't bring little value on the table, it's very unlikely you'll bring big value on the table when you can afford it. Because there is always somebody who has more than you in life. So if you cannot contribute 50 cents because you have $10, when you have $10 million, you won't be able to contribute $50,000. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you are looking for a job. It doesn't matter that you are looking for a business. If you cannot write your resume in time and deliver and make sure that it's noticed by the guy, and you are tricking him to go and ask whether he did send it, then it doesn't matter. You are not worthy help. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one.